This is my Katie doll. Hey guys, it's Adaladay aka Paige here, and welcome back to my channel. So today I am discussing a bit of a popular but also controversial topic that has been circulating in the doll community for the last month. And if you can't tell by the title of this video, yes, we are talking about the Bratz x Mean Girls collab that released last month. So I was excited and a little shocked to see that Bratz and MGA were releasing a collab with Mean Girls. I was not opposed. I was very excited because I love Mean Girls. I love a lot of things with the 2000s. So to see two very iconic pieces of 2000s pop culture come together to create a collaboration, it was really, really exciting. So come October, when they are starting to roll out these dolls, you know, people are getting ready, people are getting prepared to, you know, try to get these dolls. And when it was announced that there were going to be 3 separate releases, I was a little nervous because I was like, whoa, okay. First of all, 3 different drops. Whoa, that's a lot in 1 month. 2, having them be super limited exclusive drops, was also a bit of a surprise. I get why they wanted to, I guess, to be limited because they were a collab with a huge brand like Mean Girls, so like I get it. So to see Bratz like doing this kind of collaboration and all the excitement and hype that was built around it, everyone was really pumped up and excited, including me. I was very excited. And October 3rd rolls around and Katie Heron drops at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Bratz.com, and it is a disaster. I want to preface this part of the video by saying that I personally was able to get all 3 drops. Don't know how I did it. I seriously do not know how I got so incredibly lucky to get all 3 drops from Bratz.com. When Katie dropped on October 3rd, I couldn't believe how easily I'd gotten through the line. I was like, was this some kind of glitch? Did I just get stupidly lucky? Because seeing all the conversation on social media after this drop was done, a lot of people missed out and were disappointed, and rightfully so. I was, you know, a little feeling kind of bad and guilty for having gotten this doll when I know that there were so many other collectors who had been in the Bratz space longer, maybe were bigger fans of Mean Girls or Bratz than me. Me being a very big fan of both in the first place, you know, I felt I deserved to be happy and excited to receive Katie first. So yeah, that was just, you know, a really kind of weird emotion to have, where I was excited but I didn't really want to talk about it because I knew that it was a very sore subject for a lot of people in the community. I didn't want to make people feel bad, and I didn't want to, you know, put salt in the wound like, hey, I'm a doll collector and I got this, when a bunch of other resellers scooped them all up. So this is not necessarily like, obviously not like a Mean Girls Bratz review, but this is my Katie doll. She came in the mail only 5 or 6 days after October 3rd, so she came safely in the box. And then 2 weeks later, on October 17th, Regina George was going to drop at 11 a.m. EST. I was also really nervous because Regina, in my mind, was going to be the most popular and hardest to get drop because she is such an iconic character in the movie, and for her to be a Bratz doll is literally like a match that's perfectly made together. I mean, can you imagine? I mean, any more perfect combination of a Bratz doll than Regina George? Like, it's perfect. And then when she actually dropped, they had released those I'm Not a Robot captchas, you know, those things. I was kind of caught off guard because nobody knew that they were going to be implemented into the second drop, which is a good thing in retrospect because it does help stop some of the bots and the resellers from scooping up all the stock first. But there was a problem because they were still having bots and resellers that were somehow able to get through the I'm Not a Robot captchas. And so I was lucky enough to get Regina. I got the order confirmation on my screen and I was like shaking because I was, the adrenaline buildup is so strong when you're, it's a 50-50. You could either be successful or you could not. I think I was in the extra stock because they decided to release extra stock of Regina and Karen and Gretchen, which we'll talk about in a second. I was able to get Regina and still waiting for her to ship. So I do not have Regina yet. I probably will not have Regina for another month and a half. Kind of figured that was the case when she didn't ship like within a few days of the drop happening. And then 2 weeks after October 17th was October 31st, which was last Thursday as of recording this video. That was the last drop, and a lot of the hype had kind of gone sour. A lot of people were burnt out with the drops. They didn't want to try for Karen and Gretchen if they didn't get the first two, which I totally understand. I totally get it, especially for the price point. These two dolls were retailing for $100 as a set. Leading up, I was a little bit more optimistic because I knew that the peak had probably kind of gone down in demand for these characters. And so I, prepped and got ready, and I anticipated there'd be more CAPTCHAs and I'm not a robot screens. So I kind of just went in, moment of 11 a.m. EST. I was in the Bratz.com website. I added them to my cart, and I only had to do one CAPTCHA. And I was able to get into the queue, and I checked out, and they actually did ship same day, and they're not here yet, but they will be here pretty soon, and then I will have the whole set except for Regina because I'm still waiting for her to ship. So with that being my experience with this drop, again, I consider myself to be very, very lucky that I was able to get all 3 drops from this collab, considering all the conversation around how MGA handled it, the website crashing, the resellers, the bots, the eBay sold listings. I mean, it was just a whole thing. And to know that it's all over and we can look at it now from an outsider perspective after we've left the month of October, it just really makes me think about brands, exclusivity, FOMO. I really liked how the community was able to come together against the resellers to the best of their ability and not purchase from any resellers. And Regina actually on the secondhand market seems to have gone down in price decently, I think. I think she was originally going for around $200 or $150 in the box, I think. As far as I know, it's been a couple weeks since I've checked. But I have heard that she's been going for as low as $115, maybe $105, which is not even twice the retail price that she went for, which was $60. That is really a huge testament to the doll community. And if we all come together, we can, hopefully kind of try to combat these bots and resellers, because they will try to grab the things that are in demand to resell them for a profit, aka taking advantage of people who don't want to feel left out of the conversation when everyone has this one doll and you don't, and you want it so bad. I totally understand that feeling, and I know a lot of other people have talked about this before. It's just really, really trying to hammer in the idea that we do not give in to these resellers, and we do not give in to buying things for a huge inflated price when they just came out, they're brand new, not vintage, not hard to find. Technically mass produced to some extent, but I mean, not really, the limited release, not really sure what that means to Bratz. We don't know how many units of each doll were released. So yeah, that is just something that we can really kind of keep in mind. Speaking of the future, if Bratz does decide to do another either celebrity collab or movie collab or any kind of collab where they'll put on their website, even if it's a limited drop or not, I feel like there's definitely things they probably could have done to avoid the massive scope of controversy that they had faced when Katie and Regina had, especially those two, had dropped. Yeah, I feel like we should be leaning more towards maybe pre-orders or having things made to order as orders come in. That way you are reducing the amount of overstock that people can get, especially if they're reselling them. And I also feel like when you have a drop that's, you know, releasing at a certain time and you need to be there at a certain time and you need to have good internet, you need to be on a reliable device. I mean, all these different factors that come into play. It's like you get one shot and if you miss, you're out of luck. You're out of luck. I mean, these dolls are most likely never going to be on the MGA website again to purchase from them directly. So it's like if you were not there at that specific time when people have work, school, you know, other obligations to tend to, then you missed out. And it's not a good feeling because that just implements FOMO culture even more. And that's not what the doll community should be about. You know, we should all be able to have a shot and have a chance. And for people who did not get that chance, even whether they were in the queue or on the website or not, I mean, there were some people who got the times wrong or mixed up. There was just human error that came with that. And so if people missed out, then they lost their chance. And I feel like that's just really awful. And that's just not fair when, you know, regular store released dolls, you know, you can go to Walmart or Target anytime to find a certain doll. Like, you know, the I Heart Jack and Sally doll that I just reviewed for Halloween. That doll was readily available in a store. You could go at your convenience. But if it's a doll that's online and is super limited and comes out at a certain time, you know, it's like if you're not there at that specific time, you're gonna miss out. So, you know, lots of sacrifice when it comes to, you know, wanting to be there and engage in your hobby, but also it's like, well, I have work, I have school, you know, I have things going on. So yeah, that's been my kind of thought process with this whole drop, my experience, you know, how things went in terms of the doll community and what MGA could probably do better or differently in the future. A lot of people called for these dolls to be in stores instead because then people can come and go at their own convenience to purchase them. And also just not having them in such limited quantities would, you know, have made so much more money for MGA. And, you know, isn't that kind of what these companies want? If you would like me to do a review of my Mean Girls Bratz, at least maybe Katie and Karen and Gretchen, I would be more than happy to do some kind of video with these dolls. Just let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Did you get any of these dolls? Did you participate in any of these drops? I would love to know your comments and your thoughts. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you all have a great day, and bye!